This Rantcast is in memory of Alex Preddy, whose only crime was trying to help another human being, who I don't even know if he knew her.
This could all go horribly wrong at any minute.
Hello and welcome to the 252nd edition of Louis Black's Rantcast, entitled Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. And I thought that was a snappy little title following a ridiculous ordeal for Mr. Jack Smith, the attorney who they raked over the coals in front of Congress. And because, he had, and I'll get to it in a second, that's what I was going to call it. But, the things that occurred earlier, and I thought maybe that would be what I would call it. But this, and then on Saturday, as we all know, the world flipped again upside down because we have a new type of president, a president who doesn't represent the country, but represents himself. And don't think he doesn't represent himself. And by representing himself, has become a symbol for all of those who have been or feel as if they've been oppressed and feel as if they have been treated badly. And his feeling that he must get back at those who, that it's a grudge presidency, that he has a grudge. And for the many people out there who feel that they have a grudge, he represents them. And so therefore they don't care anymore. That is the country to them, is their grudges. And even though his grudge is not their grudge, it's just great to see somebody who is a grudge meister. I guess. I don't know. This is all way beyond me. As if history had never occurred, as if it was all wiped out the day that he went into office the first time. That literally he spoke. And people who I believed in across the boards throughout the country, Republican, Democrat, whatever their belief system, that I thought all of them had a quality within them of empathy and goodness, and that this couldn't possibly occur here. I thought that, and here he is. He spoke to them, to those who seem to, and he seemed to have erased history just by speaking. That somehow he electroshocked the audience out there. I have no idea how this occurs. I really don't. And I'm going to have a little coffee here because I need it. I need it because it'll give me a second to kind of catch up with my thoughts. That came, didn't know that's where I'd start, and I'm kind of glad I got that out. And I was going to do this yesterday. I did it yesterday. I had a little froggy in my throat because it's so fucking cold out there. And in the midst of all that is occurring, we are hit with a shitstorm, a snow shitstorm. The largest one we've had here in the city, and 200 million people were wasted, killed, slaughtered by this. If you watch the Weather Channel or any channel, but that's what it became about, the weather. In the midst of what was once again, as I said at the beginning, this happened, and then he did this, and then this. And then, Snowmageddon, as they like to call it, because they're so excited to watch the weathermen just kind of almost really jack off to it. Look, it's going to be horrible. It's going to be the worst thing ever. It's giant ticks will swallow the earth. They are being blown in from due to the fact that there is a high and a low, and then that has caused weather ticks to come and suck the blood. And it is sucking the blood out of us, sucking the blood out of me. Why? I got a dog now. Got to walk the dog at 7 degrees out. This is not, I didn't sign up for 7 degrees. I didn't move here for 7 degrees. Don't tell me there's not something fucking wrong somewhere. Okay? Don't. All right? Because and really not even the temperature matters anymore. Doesn't matter. What matters is that we've been told time and time and time again that climate change is real, and now we've elected somebody who said, no, it hasn't. And that electroshocked many people, and they went, oh, he's right. He's absolutely right. God. here I was duped by windmills that were causing just the slaughter of animals. Got humpback whales dying in droves. Just stop it, Lewis, stop it. So as a result of that snow and walking around in the cold, what had been, this is now 4 weeks of this cold. And I know many of you have one thing or another that is some bug. This is my bug. And my bug is like not a giant tick, just a bug that is working its way through my system. And I had been really just thinking I was kind of on track and really, and you can hear a touch of it now. But yesterday, as I was talking, it just got worse and worse and worse. And I wanted it to be clear, and I also wanted to give it another attempt because keeping up with this stuff is exhausting. Watching him speak at Davos to the leaders of the world, the leaders of the world. They are the leaders of the world. He is. We've elected someone who is one of the leaders of the world, and until recently, the world had turned to us for guidance and is not doing it anymore. And why do you think that is? Because the world has realized that we elected someone that we really is out of control, and someone who does not appreciate really the evolution of man, and really wants to point out that there are better ways to do this by just opening his mouth. We should follow what it is that he sees and not what we have as a group seen. It's about, remember, it's about the individual. It's like being in a bad Ayn Rand novel. And all I can do is kind of grab these little things to hold on to for just a moment. They go, yeah, and then do I want to delve into that? No. Did I read Ayn Rand. It was kind of fascinating, but it's kind of like, as much as it was written to be a defense of the individual, it was also kind of a damnation of it. And this is, he's there in front of them and in front of some of the richest people on earth, and he is spewing one made-up fact after another. He's just making shit up. It's a fictional account of what's happened over the past 50 years, 100 years. There was a war, and by God, if it weren't for us, they all would have died. And Hitler, you'd be speaking German now. I believe he said that. You'd be speaking German now. It's just extraordinary, and the Germans are there. Germany was there, as if it had not happened, and as if the others really didn't contribute to that, and as if the others didn't contribute to the psychosis of our war in Afghanistan, as if starting in Iraq, as if they weren't there, as if they weren't helping Afghanistan. That was just part of it. As if they weren't there helping, okay? And they were. War prosecutor, we prop you up. We give you $100. You give us back 10. God damn it, we're not. We're doing really well, and we're doing really well because the world really respected us, and we're not going to be doing as well, okay? For those of you out there who are still like, tits are swollen for him. We're not going to do as well. And if you don't see it now, well, I don't know when you're going to see it. But, when it hits you in the face, you'll know. And good luck with that. Really good luck. It's really extraordinary. He just went on and on and on, making shit up, just making it up. And really hypercritical of our allies. And God knows, they're already hooking up. They're creating a whole new ways. And if you don't do this, and then Greenland, he brings Greenland back. I'm going to show you fucks. Greenland was ours. It should be ours. It's been ours. It was really, if you look at a map, what? All right? Denmark, it's Denmark's. Its relationship is with Denmark. There's 60,000 people there. He referred to to their country, to their country, to their country, to their what is their homeland. 60,000 that they're living in, an icy shithole. That's what they're living in. It's just ice. That's all it is ice. And we really need to be there because, boy, the Russians are there. They're not there. The Russians are not there. The Russians are not there. The Chinese are not there. They're not there. We have a base there. There is no need for this. None whatsoever. And he's going to threaten our allies again with a whole new set of tariffs in order to get him to do this. Or we'll have to attack it, but he backed off that because he's magnanimous. Nobody out there, nobody at any time who voted for him, do I believe, except for maybe his inner sanctum, nobody at any point thought, I really got to get him elected because we need Greenland, and he's the man to do it. Okay, it's that simple. All right? Most of you would have forgotten Greenland if it hadn't been such a shock the first time you saw it on a map. And if we put it out on a map, it's one of the few countries that they might be able to, God, I remember that somehow. Or at least be able to or might be able to just kind of go, oh, Greenland. It was, especially if it was green on the map without a name on it. That's what we got. That was day one, and that was too much already. And then the next day kind of backed off some more. We've already we've settled it. We came up with a solution. What? We have distractions from distractions from distractions. Some think that this is a distraction from the Epstein thing. I just think it's a distraction from listening to him. I think he's distracting us from, I don't know. And maybe it is. I don't know anymore. I have no idea. Because I wake up the next day, and which is, so I was going to call it Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, because the next day, really, Jack Smith is in front of Congress. And he's the one who essentially had two cases. The first one, the January 6th, that was about, was President Trump, did he incite it? And therefore, had he committed a crime? And it was initially considered a conspiracy. But everybody else kind of fell by the wayside. Is a really respected attorney, had put together a case, and all the others had dropped from it, except for President Trump. And he felt that he had a very good case. He felt that he was guilty, and then he, in order to kind of, I have no idea, but he watched it. It's the first case of you really didn't see it, and even the people who were in it, many of the Republican Congress people who were there that day, who were in it, realized that, oh, no, he saw it. So he saw it differently, so that whatever I saw wasn't correct. So they stopped believing their own eyes, and they were there in the midst of it. And it was the first of the don't believe your own eyes, because really believe what we have to tell you. And so all of those people who had done all of that damage, who'd been tried, were then given pardons, because in a sense he was heading toward the pardon. The only reason that it didn't go to trial was because he was elected president, because we're idiots, and because the Democrats we're idiots, and the Democrats are morons. They just kind of really don't know how to speak to the people, and they let this happen. And so he was elected, and that was that. So that case was dropped, and the case that in Mar-a-Lago, where he brought in these trunks of stuff, these papers that it was against the law for him to take, against the law for him to take, against the law for him to take. They asked him to return it. Please return it. He said he would return it. And then they had to go down there eventually and search to find them. And I can't remember. I couldn't remember yesterday. and I'm not going to look. I didn't look it up, but today. But he the where they should have been put the archives, the Bureau of Archives. I'm going to say the Bureau of Archives because I'm an idiot, but it's they were archives and should have been put there. No, and because and then he showed them to people, or at least said stuff about it to people. He's done a lot of stuff that he then denies, but he had a case there, and the Democrats couldn't praise Mr. Smith highly enough, just gushing as if many of them were sleeping with him. Okay, rather than really talking just about the nature of of justice and how it works in this country, in order to, in essence, give a civics lesson to the country, while the other group of just unbelievable Congress people went after it, and just as if he didn't choose to do this. Okay, he was given these cases. He didn't go, boy, I can't wait to give me that case. Give me it. Give me it. Give me it. He was given the case. Why was he given the case? Because he's really good. That's why he was given the case. All right? Because until Mamdani came in, there was a slight bit of, and I'm sure there was, of, the Department of Justice being somewhat in the fold of whoever was the president. I'm sure they picked the person who's the Attorney General. But the idea is supposed to be that they maintain a distance, that they are independent. And they have been literally during the course of my lifetime. And so this was madness. And so they're attacking him and who he is and his integrity. They're attacking his integrity, as if they are fucking, 5-year-olds screaming on a playground about I can't believe you're wearing that pants. But they're going after his integrity. Someone who was chosen to do the law which is almost impossible, okay? One of my close friends, Ray Larson, did the first year of law school at the University of Maryland at Baltimore campus and was graduated number 1 in his class. He said, I'm out of here. This is psychotic. And he's somebody I truly trust. It's learning a language, a whole new language. And it's incomprehensible. Just look at your mortgage. Try to get through the first 2 paragraphs. Good luck, fucker. So I sat there and watched that. And it was an advertisement to a whole generation of people who will see sections of it and wonder, why would I go into public service? Huh? And the people, there was all sorts of ways for them to kind of talk about it, the Republicans, rather than attacking his integrity. Okay? They could have talked about the law and justice. That's what they should have talked about. And how important it is that there are people like him. That's the one thing that both sides should have agreed on when they went in to do that, so that those who were watching, who were thinking, hey, maybe public service would be something I want to do, would want to do it. And that, of course, brings us to Saturday, in which the Mr. Smith thing gets blown out of the water by, I'm watching in the news, and they announced that there's someone else has been shot and killed very early in the morning. Early, I mean, for those who, but it was Saturday, so like 9 o'clock. They were out there protesting. Maybe it was 10. I think it was 9 because it's Minnesota. And they announced that someone has been shot. Second person killed. There's only been 3 homicides recently, and maybe 3 homicides this year in Minneapolis, and 2 by ICE. And as soon as I heard it, I said, And that came out as it rolled along. But then my initial reaction was just that ICE had murdered him. That was my initial reaction. I believed it. And then as soon as the news started to kind of come out, it seemed to point toward that. It seemed to point toward that because they showed a picture of him. I thought, you usually get a sense of that somebody is might be a little crazy looking, eyes googly, that kind of thing. Could be, they were already announcing he's a domestic terrorist. He's a domestic terrorist. These people were out there protesting. None of them, maybe none of them, a few of them maybe, are maybe on the edge of violence. Okay, but they're protesting. 99% of them are protesting. This is Minneapolis. Okay, these people were out because then the initial time when she was shot, when Renee was shot, they were out there. They were just out there protesting in what looked to be a suburban neighborhood for all intents and purposes. And she got shot. And then they came out with their story, and they were kind of twisting the tail again. And there were 10 shots. And when you first heard the thing, you went, wait, that's too much. Something is really weird here. And he's lying on the ground. So he would, where's the gun that he supposedly had? And he had a gun. Why? Because he had a right to carry a gun, which was created by the Second Amendment folks, the ones who said, boy, you got to be able to carry that gun. But he wasn't supposed to be able to carry a gun to a protest. That was, he had crossed the line. Of course you could carry the gun. You could have a concealed gun. He had a license for it. Why was he carrying 2 magazines? What is the matter with these people? And meanwhile, they show his picture. He does not look like, and do I know? Yeah, I'm going to make that, yeah. Mm-hmm. Show me the pictures. All right, I've seen enough. No, he doesn't look like it, all right? And but even more than that, they announced that he is, he works, he's a nurse. Always, that's where you find all of your terrorists. And an ICU, where you find all of your terrorist nurses at ICU. And a Veterans Administration, the VA. That's called, that's a lot of sacrifice. That is public service on a level that none of these people, none of them who criticized him can even imagine. Okay? They don't get it. They don't understand what public service is. You serve the public. You serve those people, really, who are peacefully protesting. And that's what they were doing. And I don't want to hear this shit anymore. Okay? It's Minneapolis. These people who are out there, they are peacefully protesting. And if you watch the slew of people that they they interviewed afterwards, these were not people these were peaceful protesters. These are just folks who are going, what the fuck is going on here? And I probably could go on and on. And I should, but maybe I'll talk more about this next time. Because I've certainly talked about it enough. I'm going to read you something before I go. And this Friday, you can, I'll be performing at 2 Hard Rocks, Gary, Indiana, and Rockport, Illinois. And there you can, we drop something to give you the info. There are seats, oddly enough, because the weather is shit, even though folks out there like to travel in whatever the weather is. But I'll be at 2 casinos, and I'm looking forward to it. And it'll be interesting because things are just so much fun now. So much fun. Here's something for you. A Filipino woman spent 4 years praying to what she believed was a small green figurine of a smiling, rotund Buddha only to be informed by a cinephile friend that she'd been worshiping a 3D printed figure of Shrek, the affable cartoon ogre. Yep. Thought she was worshiping Budda, and it was Shrek. Thought we had a president. Huh? But it was Donald Trump. Thanks so much for joining me today. I have to say I really enjoyed performing last week's. I enjoyed performing in person. And I want to thank everyone who sent their rants in. Please send more in. I will be reading some at both shows this weekend. So if you're coming to the show in Gary or in Rockport, send it in. And I've already got one that I'll be reading from someone who informed me that they'll be there. And hopefully the weather holds and we can get out there. All right. Thank you all for the privilege and the pleasure of spending time with you. It truly is. And I take no joy in what is happening now, nor do I if I figured out how to make it funny. So if you're coming out to that show, I'm going to do what I can. But a lot of it will be to talk about other things. Because what's happening now is madness. Madness. Here's a word I don't use, humdinger. God, I can't believe that's what came to mind, but that's what just came in from William Connell. I heard this on the bus going home. Two old ladies, one says to the other, "Do you know those bastards at the drugstore started selling Viagra over the counter? Just when I thought it was safe to get into bed at night. That old cunt of a man has been a regular customer for 3 weeks, and the old cunt has been overdosing, and the last thing I want is to wake up with the old bastard dead and jammed up my crack." Thank you for sharing. And that, you know, my career kind of took off on the basis of what I overheard at that International House of Pancakes. If it weren't for my horse, there's nothing better than what you overhear. A lot of it, a lot of the time. And especially, now it's even more insane because people are just walking around with those buds in there talking fucking space. It drives me nuts. But who am I to complain? From Brittney Kempfer. Hi, Louis. I'm a huge, longtime fan, thank you. And I'm sure you don't remember coming to a small college town in southwestern Wisconsin back in 2003, but I was there at the University of Wisconsin-Platteville. I do remember, but I don't remember the school. But I remember playing a lot of branches of the University of Wisconsin. And I vividly remember you walking on the makeshift stage an hour late because, in typical Wisconsin fashion, Mother Nature decided a snowstorm was needed. Because the only possible fucking way to make February in Wisconsin better is to fucking snow. And the first thing out of your mouth was, "What the fuck? Who the fuck chooses to live like this?" Anyway, that started my love for your style of ranting comedy. Thank you, Brittney. Here we go. I currently live in southern Indiana, right across the river from Louisville, Kentucky, and don't get me started on the pronunciation of that fucking city's name. There are 4 bridges that connect southern Indiana with Louisville, and 2 have tolls. These tolls are $5 fucking one way. And even if you have a transponder, you're still paying $2.50. I lived here for 5 years and still can't tell you which state the money goes to. Tell me why the fuck they even still need to be collecting these tolls. The bridges are paid for. I spent the first 31 years of my life in Wisconsin, so I'm used to those Illinois fucks taking my money with their stupid-ass tolls. But at least they only charge you $1.50. How the fuck can these bridges be more than 3 times that? Fuck, don't we already pay out our ass for groceries and taxes? Fuck. And you might be asking why I don't just take one of the other two bridges. Well, I'm glad you asked. One is on the far western part of town, and so far out of my way where I live that it would cost me more in gas to go that way than the actual tolls. And the other one looks like it was a walking bridge that some asshole decided to turn into 2 lanes each way. It includes a bike lane. A bike lane? I can't even drive my car over that bridge without fearing for my life. Who the fuck would want to ride their bike on it? And fuck tolls! Thank you, Brittney. And thanks for your kind words. And thanks for sharing and wow, you went from that area of Wisconsin near Platteville to southern Indiana. Wow. Well, I hope you're enjoying it there besides the bridge tolls. And maybe someday they'll get them paid for. Here's one that just is astonishing. And he did a lot of work for me, so thank you, Jim B. I wouldn't call it a rant as much as I'd call it a rant instigator. So from Jim B. Hi, Lewis. So how about we try something a little different, just for shits and giggles? A game your viewers and listeners can play along with you. The premise is simple. It's sort of word association test in honor of the 1-year anniversary of the last inauguration. I made a short list off the top of my head in about 20 minutes. These are all people, places, and things related in some way to our illustrious leadership over the last year. Just read the entries aloud to yourself one at a time and briefly reflect upon the news stories associated with each. You may choose an appropriate response, silently or aloud, such as good, bad, indifferent, or my personal favorite, sucks ass. Are you ready? Let's begin. The economy. Gulf of America. South Afrikaners. Yemen. FBI Director Kash Patel. Voting maps. Affordability. Gaza. Wildfires. Trump golf courses. National Park Service. War Secretary Pete Hegseth. Network TV and the FCC. Qatar. Raking the forests. Cost of living. ICE hires. Saudi Arabian prince. Journalists. Carolyn Levitt. West Coast water supply. Canada. Presidential pardons. Health insurance. Russia. Tom Homan's $50,000 bag. Project 2025. The Trump Kennedy Center. Elon. Price index. Due process of the law. Trump-class battleship. Chicago. Speaker Mike Johnson. FEMA. Venezuela. Medicaid. Vladimir Putin. Trump crypto coin. Los Angeles. Education Secretary Linda McMahon. The Nobel Prize. Constitutional law. Veterans benefits. The Environmental Protection Agency. Kristi Noem. Iran. Doge. China and Taiwan. White House ballroom. Epstein. Late night TV hosts. That I would say again, I'm just adding this, I'm sorry. Epstein. Tariffs. The Food and Drug Administration. Adding it again. Epstein. NATO. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. Birthday parade. Pam Bondi. Ukraine. SNAP. RFK Jr. Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve. IQ test. Greenland. Senator Mark Kelly et al. Minneapolis. So how'd you do? Wasn't that fun? Is it any wonder most of us are walking around like we just got hit over the head with a fucking cast iron skillet? You see, all of this shit, all of it, transpired in one fucking year. People seem to forget, moving from one travesty or crime to the next. But it's so important not to forget, not to give up, not to give in, not to throw our hands up in surrender. If we do, this list will get far longer and far more dangerous. With all my best regards, JB, Florida, USA. Wow. JB, worth the time and the energy. Mr. Jim B. Jim Beam. I wonder if it's Jim Beam, named after the alcohol, that whiskey. Or is it bourbon? I can't fucking remember. I drank too much of it, I think. Thomas Cox has contributed the following. I voted for Mamdani because I was promised by the right-wing media that all the billionaires would leave New York if he were elected. Well, I'm waiting for those assholes to leave already. Thank you, Thomas. Christopher Johnson, who sends in a ton of comments every week. I mean, so many, it makes me think, well, we'll talk about that some other time. But I like this one, Christopher. Mr. Black, I'm actually going to defend the orange motherfucker. He's not all bad. It takes a special kind of person to make scumbags feel like good people and the soulless feel like they have one. He definitely doesn't suffer from failure of imagination. No, he doesn't, not at all. And he was talking today at Davos when I said, it's time to read some more of these. Wow, thank you, Christopher. Once again, I'm going to just say it. Folks, if you really think that he is really right on top of his stuff, our current leader, that he's really nailing it, you're really impressed, write it in. Don't just sit there and go, I can't believe I can get. I have given you all a platform. I have never said that I would take that platform away from others. You go, well, how come you don't read stuff? Because you're not sending it in. And I'm sitting here waiting for him. Maybe Ball stopped listening because he's so special to you. Maybe. I don't know. All I know is give it a shot. I'd love to see what you have to think. I would love to see what you have to say and what you think. J.C. Levitty, I'm reading this because I totally agree with you, and there are others that have written about this, and I forget to read them from time to time. I will read more now, having my pal Sammy, and I wander the streets with him, and it just amazes me to see it. Hi, Lewis. My rant is about crummy people who take the time and energy to pick up their dog's poop and put it in a little plastic bag, but then put it back on the ground. Are you kidding me? We have a nature trail with baskets to actually put these in, and they can't even be bothered to do that, much less take home with them. These poops in plastic get weathered, and the plastic falls apart, leaving trash on the trail. They would have been better off not picking it up at all and letting nature take its course. Not that it would be right either, but it is so aggravating. Oh, yeah, it is. It's unbelievable. Here, it's even more insane because they just let them take a dump. People forget to bring their bags. I've been asked as I walk along, please, do you have a bag I can borrow? I've actually gone back to the apartment to get the bag. I mean, it's what you owe your neighbors. It's what you owe yourself. It's what you owe your fucking dog. Unbelievable. So thank you, JC. Thanks to all of you for listening to my Rantcast. If you have a rant you want to get off your chest, send it in to me at lewisblack.com/live. You can think of it as therapy, or whatever you want to think of it as. Just let it rip. And I want to thank the true stars of our show, the ranters, and the splendid rants they gave us. Lewis Black's Rantcast was created and hosted by me, Lewis Black. Our live rant audio was produced by James Salter. Our theme song by Chris Lane. Executive producer, Ben Brewer. Executive producers, Matt Kleinschmidt and Robert Kelly.